Hi everyone, it's Joaquin from Carrollwood Estates. We're going to take a look at how Palisades performed this February and review the top 10 sales, and I'll discuss the buyers and where they're coming from in my newsletter. First up, 715 Brooktree Rd. This one sold for $12 million. We have a late California modernist masterwork by one of the movement's defining practitioners. It's suspended above a rustic Kenyan hillside like a habitable sculpture carved from redwood, glass, and board-formed concrete. So we have these 7 interlocking split levels, and they cascade through a steep wooded site. It's such a huge volume, but it looks like it was always meant to be there, and the structure and the landscape, they exist in this dialogue so fluent that the distinction between inside and outside kind of becomes irrelevant. So I say a lot of properties have great indoor-outdoor connection. This is one of the best I've ever seen. The Cap residence is California modernist in its pure, most evolved form. It was completed in 1967 by architect Ray Cap as his personal family home, and it belongs to, this late mid-century lineage. It has the structural clarity of Richard Neutra, and with the organic, site-responsive instincts of Harwell, Hamilton Harris, and the spatial ambition of Frank Lloyd Wright. So Cap, he's been described as a bridge between the early SoCal modernists and the contemporary architectural generation, and this house is the clearest proof. So the site itself, it was purchased in 1962 for $17,000. This steep, heavily wooded parcel was considered unbuildable due to underground springs. Cap forged ahead with 6 massive, deep-set concrete towers that are anchored into the hillside with laminated fir beams bolted across them to support a redwood and glass volume that really hovers dramatically above the terrain. So the natural landscape, it kind of passes beneath the building, largely undisturbed. It's an engineering solution and an aesthetic philosophy in a single gesture. The house, it was designated a Los Angeles Historic Cultural Monument in 1996. An expert panel assembled by the Los Angeles Times named it to a top 10 list of the best homes in Southern California. And the former president of LA's Architecture and Design Museum called it what may be the greatest house in the region. So this is one of the most studied and documented residential works of the 20th century, and it has never been offered for sale until now. This is one of my favorite homes of all time. So it's this complete unaltered architectural environment, and the structure, the interior, the furniture, the landscape, they all operate as a single integrated system. And the 7 split levels and the cantilever decks, the custom built-ins, the curated collection of period furnishings, the way light moves across the redwood and the concrete as the day progresses, all of it is Cap's hand. It's just absolutely amazing. All right, let's keep it moving. The buyer, they're coming from Brentwood and is both a film producer, and they specialize in restoration of architecturally significant homes. Next on our list, we have 1146 Amalfi Drive. This one sold for $7.49 million. We have a 1948 California traditional with some of the polish and pedigree of an East Coast manor. It sits behind a wall of mature jacarandas and sycamores on one of the Palisades' most coveted flat streets. This was built in 1948. The single-story structure belongs to the post-war generation of West Side ranch homes that drew from the same DNA as Cliff May's pioneering designs. So we have these low slung horizontal profiles, easy single level living, and an emphasis on connecting the house to the outdoors. But this home has been deliberately elevated over time with traditional detailing that gives it the character and gravity of something older and more formal. We have nice crown moldings, wainscoting that runs through the principal rooms, but they're scaled appropriately for a single story ceiling height. The fireplaces, they're finished in Calcutta marble with classically proportioned mantles. So we also have French doors that open from the living room and the primary suite directly onto the brick patios in the garden. Hardwood floors run throughout the house. At 18,000 square feet for this flat prime lot north of Sunset, the land alone carries significant value, and the privacy provided by the mature hedging and the specimen tree canopy is valuable. The rear garden, it kind of reads like a private botanical compound with layered tropical plantings, flowering beds, mature shade trees, and a generous flat lawn. It was a good sale. Sold close to land value at $416 per square foot of land. That is cheap, and for the seller's perspective, for the buyer's perspective, the house traded at almost $2,000 per square foot. The structure, it's in good size, and it's a good size, it's good as is, and it has nice architecture, but if they were to put money into the house, it would be a skinnier deal for the buyer when they go to sell. The architecture is good, but it will not support a massive number after renovations. The buyer, they're coming from the alphabet streets and the Palisades. One is a finance professor at UCLA Anderson, who also manages part of the university's endowment. Next on our list, we have 906 Glenhaven Drive. This one sold for $6.57777. Nearly 25,000 square feet of promontory land on a cul-de-sac in Marquez Knolls. It has 270-degree views that sweep from downtown LA to the skyline to Santa Monica Pier to Catalina Island and up the Malibu coast. This is a double lot that has not changed hands since 1976, and it was held back by Earl Lockman, the developer who built out the entire Marquez Knolls community, as his personal property. After the Palisades fire, the site is cleared to foundations and ready for a buyer with the vision and the capital to build a trophy view estate or subdivide it into two separate parcels. This is really about 15,000 square foot of flat land and traded at an adjusted $438 per square foot, which is pretty incredible. Moving on, next on our list, we have 14959 La Cumbre Drive. This one sold for $4.95 million. It's a 1949 single level California traditional on nearly 12,000 square feet of land in the Huntington Palisades. The house, it survived the fire, and it sits elevated above the street on a gently sloping lot with brick walkways, a coveted front porch with white railings, mature fruit and shade trees, and potential treetop ocean views from the rear elevation. At 3,100 square feet, across 4 beds, the house is livable, but this is most likely a tear down. The current structure does not really suit further investment, in my opinion. A second story or significant expansion could unlock ocean views that the elevation and location make possible. Looking at the sales history on this side of the street of La Cumbre, there are 2 homes that are 2 stories on the ends of the street that sold. They did not have ocean views. It was a great sale at $415 per square foot of land. The buyer is coming from Santa Monica, and they are a business development executive at the largest local television company in the US. Moving on, we're staying in the Huntington. We have 717 Toyopa Drive. We have a fully cleared flat lot on one of the best streets in the Huntington Palisades, sold for $4.7 million with RTI plans by acclaimed design build firm Brian Simon of Corner Construction for a 2-story transitional estate of nearly 6,000 square feet. It was listed at $4.98 million on January 7th, and it went under contract in a month and ended up closing at $425 per square foot of land. So the sale, it did include the 2025 RTI plans and a 2015 topographic survey and a final debris removal permit. So Corner Construction is also available to be engaged for the build at the buyer's discretion, meaning a buyer can go from close of escrow to construction with very minimal delay. It's also worth mentioning, Palisades Village is slated to reopen by mid-2026 with enhanced dining, retail, and community amenities, while the nearby park and recreation center will soon embark on significant upgrades backed by Steadfast LA, the Lakers head coach JJ Redick, and his LA Strong Sports Foundation, and the city of Los Angeles. Next on our list, we have 737 El Medio Ave. This one sold for $4.675 million. We have a fully gated Hampton-style traditional on El Medio Ave in the Bluffs, built by Structure Homes in 2006 and remodeled in 2019. So the house, it survived the Palisades fire with neighbors on both sides lost, unfortunately. At 3,777 square feet across 4 beds and 5 baths, it is a compact but well-built home on one of the Palisades' most walkable streets. Minutes from the village, beaches, and trails, The standout exterior feature is this full width second story screened veranda with Chippendale pattern railings that give the facade this southern plantation quality that you really rarely see on the west side. Inside, the interiors are warm, coastal. We have this white shiplap ceilings, wide plank white oak floors, wainscoting throughout, and a kitchen anchored by a blue-gray island with Calcutta marble. It's not remediated yet, which is the one asterisk on an otherwise clean package. Looking at some of the comparable sales in El Medio Bluffs, 720 North Almar Ave. It was built in 2009. It was a traditional style home, very similar. It was also 3,800 square feet on a similar lot size, and it sold in August 2024 for $5.145 million and $1,334 per square foot. That represents an almost 8% discount compared to standing homes before the fire for price per square foot. I absolutely love that for the sellers out there. That's amazing. Next, 324 Aderno Way. This one sold for $4.65 million. We have a soft contemporary perched above the Bel Air Bay Club, one of the most storied private clubs on the California coast. This is going to be a special promontory retreat and big ground zero bet on the Palisades next chapter. So this one comes with Ken Unger approved RTI plans. They're going to translate that 108 square feet of bluff top frontage into a 5,200 square foot stone clad, glass wrapped living engineered to absorb these panoramic whitewater views from every primary room with Adam Hunter's hand on the interiors. This is a shovel-ready opportunity to build what amounts to a curated coastal compound. Architectural classification, it's soft contemporary, it's not modern, it's not transitional. The stone and stucco contrast the flat roof lines with cantilevered overhangs and the restrained window proportions on the front versus the aggressive glass on the rear, or the tells here. Unger's own site describes his range as traditional, transitional, and contemporary, and the listing itself uses soft contemporary, which is the right call for this design language. As for Ken Unger has 300 custom homes on the west side, clients including LeBron James, Reese Witherspoon, and Jennifer Garner, and a Gold Nugget Award. Adam Hunter is a former Broadway actor turned Architectural Digest featured designer. Having both names on this plan set is a meaningful provenance. Moving on, 15022 Bestor Blvd. This one sold for $3.95 million. This was an off-market land sale in the Alphabet Streets for a 12,358 square foot lot, which comes out to $320 per square foot of land. This parcel, it sits on a corner at Bestor and Embry in the upper part of the Alphabet Streets. It's elevated enough that a 2-story build should capture ocean views from the second level. At 12,350 square feet for the lot, that's 0.28 acres or over a quarter acre. This is a very large lot for the Alphabet Streets, where the average lot runs closer to 5,200 to 7,500 square feet. The key question for any developer or owner builder on this parcel is whether a 2-story build can clear the neighboring roof lines to the south and west and capture a Pacific view. The evidence from the media area says yes. The property 1 street over on the same corner side, 180 Fisk provides the clearest evidence of what is achievable from the elevation. That home, it's sold in August 2024, and 2 of the second floor bedrooms had ocean views. Moving on, 1305 Duende Ln. This one sold for $3.36 million. We have a 1970s California traditional and Marquez knolls. It was stripped to the studs and rebuilt with a contemporary style. It has on the exterior this brick pergola and exposed rafter tails on the outside, leathered quartzite and bouquet on the inside. The renovation, it's thorough enough to feel new, but the bones are honest. It has wide eaves, it has a mature lot, it has a pool terrace wrapped in brick, and this kind of quiet, tucked in site that really only a 50-year-old home in a cul-de-sac street can deliver. Last up on our list, we have 16798 Charmel Ln. This one sold for $2.78 million. We have a 1970 mid-century modern single story on 3/4 of an acre at the top of Marquez Knolls. It's really about a 6,000 square foot flat pad. By the way, the exterior, it's red brick. Inside we have exposed beams, walls of glass, pyramid skylights, and canyon to ocean views framed by heritage Torrey pines. This is the kind of house that architectural purists are going to spend serious time looking for. We have an honest, unaltered mid-century perched on the hillside, orientated west toward a canyon that drops straight to the Pacific. Sold in December 2024 for an effective $2.81 million with the buyer paid commission, and it just resold for $2.78 million. Not bad at all. This is a textbook Marquez Knolls mid-century. The Lockman family and the 60s and 70s development produced dozens of homes in this pocket across the upper hillside tracts. The lots are wider, the elevations are higher, and the original builders exploited the canyon edge positions with these single-story plans that maximize the glass-to-view ratios. Charmel Ln also winds along the canyon rim above Lockman Lane. It's one of the neighborhood's most elevated streets, and properties here were built 1969, 1970, and the original homes have this common architectural DNA, which is brick and wood construction, post and beam structural systems, clear story windows, and an orientation toward the canyon and the ocean. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys. If you or someone you know is thinking of selling, give us a call, shoot us a text, an email. Let us present our approach and share our thoughts on how to best maximize your asset before coming to market. We have an excellent network of professionals to prep the house, from basic paint, landscaping, decluttering, minor remodel, full remodel, interior designer, and staging. And if you're looking to buy, let us connect you with the off-market properties that we have available and that we know are available. Give me a call, 310-943-0909. Thank you.